Hello everyone. Myself Dr. Rajesh Prasad, working as professor in Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. So I want to discuss about Chomsky hierarchy. So the content which I'm going to cover is like what is Chomsky hierarchy, and second content is DFA, deterministic finite automata to regular expression conversion, and then regular grammar to finite automata conversion. So three things I'm going to cover. So as we know that Chomsky is like Noam Chomsky is the one who has classified the grammar and languages into four categories. So this is the category of the grammar and language: type 0, type 1, type 2, and type 3, right? So type 0 is known as unrestricted grammar, and this is going to be recognized by the Turing machine. Turing machine is the one which is recognizing the type 0 type productions, right? And type 1 is like known as context sensitive grammar, and it is accepted by the linear bounded automata. And type 2 is known as context free grammar, which is going to be accepted by the push down automata. And type 3 is the regular grammar, which is accepted by the finite automata. So we can see that here type 3 of course is subset of type 2, and this is subset of type 1, and this is subset of type 0, right? So this is the hierarchy, that any type 3 means regular grammar is subset of context free grammar, and context free grammar is subset of context sensitive, and context sensitive is a subset of unrestricted grammar, and this unrestricted grammar is also known as phrase structured grammar. This is also known as phrase structured grammar, right? So like if any grammar is in type 3, definitely it is going to be in type 2, and it is going to be in type 1, and it is also going to be in type 0. So this is the hierarchy, and we are going to discuss about what are the production rules which is going to be accepted by type 0, and what are the production rule which is going to be accepted by other types of the grammars, right? Yeah. So this type 0 grammar, also known as phrase structured grammar, phrase structured grammar, phrase structured grammar. So here no restriction on the production rule. Any type, like as we know that any grammar G is basically four tuple V, sigma, and SP, right? Where V is non-terminal, V is set of non-terminals, and sigma is set of terminal symbols, terminals, and this is set of non-terminals, and of course this is also not equal to phi. And yes, we know that this is starting symbol, and P is set of production rules, and of course this P is subset of V union sigma star cross V union sigma star. That means this non-terminal and terminal. So this is going to be non-terminal, terminal together star, and this is V non-terminal and terminal together. So of course, if we can say that this is alpha comma beta belong to production rule, means that alpha to beta is a production rule, right? So if we think that alpha to beta is a production rule, so like there is no restriction on alpha. Alpha can be non-terminal, terminal, or even beta can be non-terminal and terminal. They can be any non-terminal and they can be any terminal. So there is no restriction on the type 0 productions. So type 1 is most important. This is known as context sensitive grammar, right? So in this category of the grammar, each production rule is of this form: phi 1 a phi 2 goes to phi 1 psi phi 2, where psi is not going to be like null string. See, and phi 1 is left context, phi 2 is right context. As we can see that whatever phi 1 and phi 2 is, they are going to be fixed in both the sides. That means we are not changing the phi 1 and phi 2. So this is known as left context, this is right context. For example, so if we think that, like, see here, A, B and B goes to a small a, and let's say B and A double B, right? So here this production rule is of type 1, because this we can assume that this is phi 1, okay, and this is phi 2, this is phi 2, okay. So if this is phi 1, this is phi 2, so let us fix them in the right side also, phi 1 and this is phi 2, and this guy is not epsilon, not empty string, not lambda, and so A derive this value, right? So that means this is it going to be in category number 1, clear? Yeah. So on the other hand, suppose if we take this example, A goes to A. So if you fix this guy as phi 1, see there is no phi 1 here. That means this is not going to be in category 1. So next category is going to be category 0. If a grammar is not in category 1, so definitely it is going to be categorized as category 0. And if we talk about next production, let's say A goes to, like, see here, this is also not in type 1, because this remain the same, which is going to be phi 1, this remain the same, which is going to be phi 1, and A derives lambda, lambda or epsilon is the same. So this is not the one, you know, this cannot be lambda, this cannot be lambda, so automatic this is going to be categorized in category number 0, right? So let's have another example. Let's say if we are talking about this, there are two non-terminals in the left hand side, okay. So you see here, let's say this AB, okay, yes. So here if we take this A, this as phi 1, you are not going to get anything, because yeah, if you can take phi 1 here, this is phi 1, phi 2 is we are getting this phi 2, but you cannot take two non-terminal in the left hand side. On the other hand, if in this same question, if we talk about like this same question, and if you just take this guy as phi 1, okay, and this guy as a phi 2, so this is going to be phi 1 and this is going to be phi 2. So B can derive BA. This is going to be in type 1 category. So type 1 is very important category of the grammar. So any grammar which is in type 1 is known as context sensitive grammar, and language which is going to be generated by this grammar is context sensitive language, and of course this is going to be recognized by the push down automata. Yeah. So type next production is like type 2 category, we call it context free grammar. This is type 2 is known as a context free grammar. So in this context free grammar, each production rule is of this form: non-terminal derive any number of terminal or non-terminal, where A belong to B, non-terminal, and this psi belong to non-terminal and terminal, any number of occurrences. So this any production rule which is of this category is going to be type 2. Look at here, in this type 2 context free, there is no context of the left and right context, right? So that means whenever you don't have left context and right context, don't categorize it into type 1 and type 2. Automatic, whether it is going to be in type 2 or it is going to be in type 3 category. So this type of production, let's say if we are talking about A and B, so this is going to be in category 2, because this can be non-terminal and terminal. There is only one non-terminal here in the left hand side. Similarly, if we can ask about this AAB, of course this is also going to be in category 2. As a special case, if S derive is starting symbol deriving lambda, this is also going to be categorized as type 2. This is also going to be categorized as type 1. It is a special case where starting symbol is deriving the terminal epsilon, right? Yeah. So Next category of the grammar is regular grammar. Here, each production rule is either of this form, terminal, or this is deriving terminal followed by non-terminal, right? So if any production rule is of this form, terminal followed by non-terminal, it is going to be in type 3 regular grammar, right? So where this A is member of non-terminal and this B is also member of non-terminal, and this guy belong to sigma. So terminal or terminal followed by non-terminal, then this grammar is going to be categorized as grammar 2. So if we look at here, if here type 3, if a grammar in type 3 regular, means that this is going to be accepted by the finite automata, right? So similarly, this is going to be accepted by push down automata. So let us see how a type 3 can be accepted by the regular grammar. So we are here, so like yeah, so each production we are done with the regular grammar. So if there is a question that find out the highest type of the grammar, highest type means lower the number, higher the type. For example, if somebody is asking that find out the highest type of the grammar whose production rules are, let's say, A goes to AB and AA goes to, let's say, AB, and A goes to small a, and A capital A goes to AAB, right? Yes, let's say this is the production grammar which has 4 production rules, number 1, number 2 and 3. So question is that what is highest type of this grammar? So highest type, let's find out the type of this non-terminal, terminal followed by non-terminal. So this is going to be categorized as type 2. Similarly, left context phi 1, this is left context. That means if you have something in the left and right, left context, don't categorize it into type 2 and type 3. This is going to be either 1 or 0 category. So let's say this is phi 1. So this is also going to be phi 1, clear? And this derive B, yes, of course, and there is lambda or epsilon. This is going to be in phi 2 category. This is lambda, which is going to be in phi 2 category, clear? So that means phi 1 and phi 2 are fixed. So this is going to be 1 category. This is of course terminal. So this is going to be in 3 category, right? So this is also going to be A, and phi 1 is fixed, right? But you see here, A derive AB. A can derive AB easily. There is no problem. You can take epsilon lambda. You can take lambda. So here is 1 also. So what is the highest type? Lower the number, lowest number. So that means type of this grammar is 1, 1, 3, 2. So lower the number, higher the type actually. So what is highest type of this grammar? It is type 1 category, because if any grammar is in type 2, type 3, it is also going to be in type 1. So that is going to be the, yeah. So question is that how to convert, like see, regular grammar has equivalency between finite automata. That means this is very important, that how to convert regular grammar to finite automata and finite automata to regular grammars, right? So let's understand the concept. DFA to finite automata means your automata has to be in deterministic form, is not going to be non-deterministic. So let's understand one example. So suppose you have like this. Suppose you have like this Q0. Let's have a small example, and Q1 and Q2. Let's have, this is final state. Okay. So DFA, and of course let's say this is A and this is going to be B. Let's say this is B and this is going to be A. Let's say this is A and this is going to be B. Okay. So this is DFA. That means from DFA you have M equal to Q sigma delta Q0 and F. This is DFA. And you are going to convert into grammar. Grammar is G equal to V sigma starting symbol and P. This is the conversion which we are looking for actually. Okay, so here in the V actually is set of all the states written in capital letter. So how many states do we have? We have 3 states, so it will be written in capital letter Q0, Q1 and Q2. Clear? Yeah, we got V. Sigma remains same. Okay, this sigma remains same, and S is nothing but Q0, capital letter. S is going to be Q0, capital. And how to know the production? Production is important, right? For each delta, you have delta. Let's say Q comma A. If you are going to, let's say, Q1, are you getting my point? See, if delta Q comma A to Q1, so this means that in a production rule, P, production rule will capital Q is small a and Q. This is the one rule number 1. For production, this is the rule number 1. Whenever Q1 is, if Q1 is not member of final state, right? Rule number 2 for production, for each delta Q comma A, you are going equal to Q1. We include 2 rules. Q goes to small a Q1 and Q goes to small a also. Whenever if Q1 is member of final state. That means if destination is going to be the final state, we are going to include 2 productions, 2 production rule, right? So let's see here. So from this conversion, we can say that Q0 here states are 3 and the starting symbol is starting is Q0. You are going to start from Q0. Q0 is small a, delta Q0 A Q1. You are going to on Q0, but destination is not final. So it is going to be A and Q0. This is production number 1. Okay. Similarly, Q0 goes to B Q1 and we know that Q1 is not final state. So this is final from the Q0 side, right? Let us talk about Q1. Q1 goes to B and Q1, yes, correct. And now Q1 goes to A and Q2, yes. But you remember Q2 is final state also. So whenever destination is final state, you are going to add 2 rules. One is also going to be Q1 goes to small a also. This is one thing. Similarly, if you talk about Q2, Q2 goes to A Q2 and Q2 is final state also. So this is going to be Q2 and Q2 goes to B Q2 and B is final state. So this is also going to be B. So this is the grammar, regular grammar. You can see that this is regular grammar for the corresponding finite automata. Yes, terminal followed by non-terminal and other. There is one important remark. Suppose your starting state is also final. What will happen? See, Q0, Q1 and let's say this is also final. This is also final. Let's say here this is the situation. Let's say this is the one. So whenever starting state is also final state, so we are going to include one additional rule Q0 to lambda. Lambda is epsilon here. This is additional rule, right? And then Q0 to B and Q0 is final state. So B Q0 and we are going to additionally include B also, right? And same thing Q0 goes to A and this Q1 is final, yes. So you are going to include A also, clear? Yeah. And then similarly Q1 goes to A Q1 and Q1 is destination, it is going to be A. Q1 goes to B Q1, it is going to be B. So this is the conversion of DFA to regular grammar. So what about converse? What about regular grammar to opposite? From regular grammar, if it is given, you cannot get DFA, finite atom DFA by reversing the construction above. No, because suppose we have regular grammar like C, is A goes to small a capital B, and let's say small a capital A, and let's say B capital C, right? So here now B goes to let's say B capital B and then let's say B, right? If you reverse the construction, we will not get the finite DFA. Why? Suppose capital letters are representing the states. So we have A, B, C states, right? A is starting. Assume that A is starting. Let us reverse the construction A, B, and C. A small a, then B. Yes, it is going to be here. Clear? This one is the reversing the construction. Similarly, you know, one terminal, another not terminal, then terminal, non-terminal. So now again, look at here. This is going to be the one. So now from this, you are going to get a non-deterministic finite automata. So A goes to BC. Yes, correct. Then now B goes to BB. Yes, this is the one. And this type of production is going to be handled by including another state, a dummy state, which we call it X, and make it a final state, right? This type of production is going to be handled by this. So B goes to here, any type of production, this is going to be any non-terminal state from where there is no transition defined. By looking at this, you can see that this is an NFA, and from this NFA, you can easily convert into DFA. So this is important point, that from regular grammar, you cannot get directly DFA. You can get NFA, right? So let's have another example like C. Suppose you have this product grammar, A goes to A, and let's say A goes to B, and let's say you have A also, right? And let's say B goes to BB or B. So how many states do we have? A, B. So in this production, make A here, right, and make B here. Include another state which is marked as X. Remember, X is not in the list of the original states. So just reverse the construction. A goes to small a here, A, and small a B, and then small a. You know, for this type of production, it is directly going to a X state. From here, there is no transition defined. Similarly, B goes to BB, and then B goes to here, and small b, this is the one. And in order to get DFA, you can convert into DFA to get the DFA correctly. So conclusion is that from regular grammar, you cannot get the DFA directly. You will get the NFA, and from NFA, you can get the DFA directly, right? So these are the references. You can check John Upcroft and KLP Misra or Peter Lin. Thank you for watching.